All right, team, it is Tuesday, January 8th, and this is our first Lunch and Learn of 2019. So, yay! All of our firsts for 2019. We have the first welcome call tonight. We have the first of the Mercedes Car Club tonight, depending on your time zone, but it's in all your events. So if there's anything that you've been not participating in that you want to jump in now, like if you're like, oh, I wish I did the Mercedes Car Club, that's not something that's over. You can join at any time. So if you've wanted to be in it, or you're just hearing about it now for the first time, or whatever the case may be, by all means, shoot a message to me or your leader, and let's get you added in there so that you can start participating in that. Because remember, the Mercedes Car Club training, it's a training on building. It's a training on building your team, whether you're a fashion director wanting to move to branch and above, or whether you're an area wanting to move to division, or any other level in there. So at no time is it over or too late or anything like that. And if you are restarting or just want a refresher, I'm doing my newest updated version of the welcome call tonight. It's at 8 Eastern, so whatever time that is for you. So if you could encourage your newest team members to join on, or if you want to join on to refresh your own memory, as well as see what some of the tweaks are that I made, then feel free to come on that. And then the Mercedes is at 9 Eastern. So those three, in addition to a different Zoom that I do the hour after this one, and Tuesday is a very Zoomy day for Michelle and Team Shannon. So so glad you're all on, and we had that exciting announcement next week that we know we're earning the trip. Like, we're already earning the trip. However, we're not going to find out the destination until we're at convention. Now, I love finding the destination out at convention. I feel like it's way more exciting than when we find out like an announcement online or, anything like that. But what it can do is kind of create a delay in your starting, because you kind of, when you don't know what it is, it's like, oh, well, I guess when we find out what it is, I'll get going on that. And you are going to give up precious opportunity to accumulate points if you're waiting until you know what the destination is to go ahead and get started. Because here's the worst case scenario, right? You get started now, you're building your business better, it's building bigger, it's building stronger. It's giving you focus, right? You know, if it's anything like the point structure of any other Park Lane trip, then we need 4 recruits, we know. So you can start focusing on who are my next 4 recruits going to be, since that's the bare minimum I want to have in the next couple of months. So what can I do to find my next team members? What can I do to fill up my calendar so that I'm meeting enough people to have enough sales to accumulate points, and to have enough shows to meet enough new people to find my next 4 recruits? In doing so, you're going to be making more money for your family, making more money for yourself, your needs, whatever it is that you use your Park Lane money for. And think about, what does your Park Lane money go to? Because it doesn't just go, right? I mean, think about, what are some things specifically that your Park Lane money pays for? I loved that Jennifer shared with us last week that she's been working on paying off her student loans, and that's been a big thing that her Park Lane money has gone towards, and now her student loans are paid off. That is huge, huge, huge. And with the state of education right now, there are so many people out there with crushing student loans, like the kind of student loans that means you can't buy a house because your loans equal as much as a mortgage payment. So while building up for this trip announcement, and while building up to get ready for your trip, you're making more money. And worst case scenario, again, remember, because we're working on just the worst case scenario right here, they announce something and you're like, oh, that's terrible. Then what you're going to do is take a cash out. It's anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a trip. It depends on the destination and what they decide and whatever. The value of the trip is always way higher than the cash out. But when you can't go or don't want to for whatever reason, then you're getting a big fat bonus on your paycheck the week of the trip, the week that we leave for the trip. So who wouldn't want an extra $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $3,000 bonus? There were a couple of trips I couldn't go on, and I took the cash. And I know I made somebody's, like, my boy's tuition is paid 3 times a year. I made somebody's tuition payment with it. That was a big deal. So that's all the worst case scenario, but let's take a minute to think about the best case scenario, right? What if they announce the location that you've been dreaming about, right? You've been laying in bed, man, I would really love to go to, I don't know, shout something out to me.
The Bahamas.
Barbados. Hey, Elizabeth.
The Bahamas. I heard the Bahamas. What else?
Jamaica.
Clearly, we all want to sit on a beach.
Hawaii again.
Hawaii. There's so many different things to see in Hawaii. We went to the Big Island, but God knows there's at least 3 other places that we could go to in Hawaii. So these are places that at some point you daydreamed about going. You've talked with your spouse about going, with your best friend, with your mom, about going on this trip. And what if that's the words that comes out of their mouth while we're sitting at those tables in 1 month from today? We're finding that out probably 1 month from either yesterday or today. So if they say that, and it is the trip of a lifetime that you've always wanted, can you imagine how great it will feel to know I already have half the recruits I need? I already started building my calendar. I have 6 shows to do when I go home for the rest of February. What is it going to feel like if they announce your dream destination and you've already let 6 weeks slip by you? All of January and that first week of February, you're going to immediately be mad at yourself that you squandered an opportunity. And even though it may seem like no big deal now, ask Belinda what it feels like on the last week. And I'm not picking on Belinda. We've all done it. I had to squeak out my second Rome trip like, serious business. But we've been there. Belinda, what is it? What would you do for an extra week at the end of some of those trips that went down to the wire for you?
I was putting in orders till 1 o'clock in the morning. It was hell. It was not a happy week. It was actually a whole week. It wasn't just the one last day.
Right. And if they had said, 3 weeks more, 4 weeks more, you would have did a cartwheel. Ankle or no ankle, she would have did a cartwheel.
Yes.
But this 4 extra weeks is on the front. Yeah. And I just don't want you to be in a position where it is the last week and you are saying, oh, why didn't I do it in January like Michelle and Belinda and everybody told me? I thought I knew better. Or I thought I had time. Every minute of earning a trip is precious, especially here at Park Lane, where the trip incentives are shorter and therefore more focused, and just, you do it and move forward. So let's talk about the top 10 secrets that I'm going to share with you about earning a trip. And we have plenty of other trip earners on this Zoom today that can either back me up or enhance what I'm saying for sure, because we are a team that lots of people earn trips. So, number 1, it's going to be priceless, meaning that it doesn't even almost matter where we go, whether it's somewhere you've never been or somewhere you've been before, because it's going to be a priceless, fabulous experience. They offer different experiences, which are often things that you can't you can't buy. You know, when we went to, some of you may have already been to Greece, for example, but did you have cocktails under the Acropolis? Because that's what we did with Park Lane. We had cocktails under the Acropolis. We had breakfast every day on a rooftop restaurant that overlooked the entire city. And every meal was like that too, where we were overlooking hills and mountains and things you've seen in history books were right there. We were touching things that you've seen in a history book. When we went to Switzerland, I was afforded the opportunity, and many did it as an excursion as well. We went to the highest place in Europe, and Park Lane paid for it. It was crazy, amazing. We went on that suspension bridge. These are experiences that you're just that you're just not going to have in your average family trip. Even when they did the Disney trip, they did an unbelievable dinner and characters that was so much more high-end than what you're getting in a package from Disney World. So if they announce a place you've been, be assured that it's going to be experiences that you've never had. And surely, even if you somehow pulled off that experience, you had to pay for it, and probably quite dearly. And in this case, you won't. Okay, so here's secret number 2. It's all in your belief. If you've never earned a trip before and you're not quite sure that this is for you, I need you to start believing right now that it is for you. Because everybody's first trip was at some point. Everybody who's an achiever now at one point had never earned a trip, whether it was with Park Lane or with a prior company. So what you need to do right now, and what we all need to do, whether we've earned before or not, we need to declare this. We need to take ownership of it right now. I'm earning this trip. And when they make that announcement, I'm going to be the happiest person in the room because I'm going to be on track. So you're going to post a picture of the destination and make it your screensaver. Make it the wallpaper on your phone. Hang it up in your kitchen, on your refrigerator, on your night table where you do your makeup. Put it places so that people maybe even coming to visit your house are like, what's with all the pictures of, Hawaii all over the place? Oh, I'm working on earning a trip. And then people are more apt to help you. So own it, declare it, and decide that this is for you. In the meanwhile, you can just post a favorite pic of somewhere you'd like to go, right? Where's somewhere you want to go? Or, pick out a luggage set that you're going to bring on this trip and post that all over the place in the meanwhile. But it all comes down to your belief. If you don't believe that this is for you, then you're not going to be able to earn the trip. That's just as simple as that. You have to believe that it is for you and that you can do it. So, secret number 3 is that the recruiting is the key. And recruiting early is the biggest key of all. This is what's going to give you momentum. Early recruiting gives you a humongous head start on your trip. Because if you recruit somebody today and you're launching them this weekend, then you have the opportunity to help them grow their business through all of January, February, March. Usually we earn the trip through May is typically. Now think of how much you can help someone grow a business over those 5 months period. And in that time, all of what you help them with, all those sales are accumulating on your trip. Whereas the person that you launch on May 20th, you're only getting 10 days worth of sales and growth from. Now, if that's your 4th person that you need, well, that's great, sure. But imagine you had found that person in January and you had all those months to accumulate. Not last September, but the September. No, was it last September? Yeah. Last September, I had 3 fantastic personal recruits start all at the same time. And I ended up as a top 10 achiever in Switzerland because of it. And a lot of the getting that point accumulation was starting off 3 really strong recruits early in the incentive period. So sharing the business now early and often, and really putting the effort into helping them have a great launch, going to the next show or 2 with them to make sure that they have strong sales, that you're making sure they know how to work the sale, that their guests are taking all their half price items, that they're taking their bonus items. These are all things that will help your recruit grow faster and have better skills, and you'll be rewarded with those additional trip points. So work smarter, sponsor early, get your 4 right away, because then you don't have to be distracted by how many you need, and you can just share the business freely. Not always with the goggles on, the 4 goggles, you know, where you're like, I need 4, I need 4, I need 4, I need 4. Because when that is your main thing that's on your head, you're actually not going to recruit anybody, because your heart's not in the right place. When your heart's in the right place to share the business for the right reasons, you're going to have 4, 5, 6, and 7 recruits. All right, let's go to number 4, which I touched a little bit on there. There are no limits to how many people that you can bring onto your team during this time period. So the more recruits that you have and that you're helping grow a nice business means that more people are taking a piece of the pie that needs to fill in the sales. So let's say, and just for like putting a number out there, let's say it was 35,000, right, that you needed. And it's you and 4 recruits. That means that you and your 4 recruits each have to fill in each section of this pie. Right? And chances are it's going to be you doing this whole section here and them doing this, right? But what if you had 6 recruits? Now look how many more sections there are to hand out to other people. And in that case, if it was 4 people and we needed 35,000, then everybody would be needing to do over 1,500 each of those months. But if you had more recruits, it'd be down to 1,200 each of those 5 months. So, you know, don't stop at 4. And for that matter, we should never be putting a finite number on how big we want to grow our team, or putting a finite number on how many people are allowed to try this business. Because if we go to our shows saying, well, I have my 4 recruits for the trip, so I don't need to share the business today, again, that is not a way to grow a business. That's a way to earn a trip, but you're not going to grow that way. And again, your heart's not in the right place, and you're deciding for a whole room full of people, they don't get to have what you have. And when you think about it that way, that's like, you know, that's bad. That's never okay. That you can just decide, I get to have this, but you don't. Okay. So let's go to number 5. Offer and ask every single host if they are interested in the business. We've gone over this so many times that the order form that you do with your host at the end of a show, on the back, you have that great visual that shows this is what they're getting as a host. But if they would like to consider trying the business, they'd be entitled to the X amount of dollars paycheck, doing the shows of the X, Y, and Z friends that also booked, and go ahead and use this as a way to try out the business. They have bookings, they have a paycheck, they're going to have their kit reimbursed in this case. So, you know, would you like to give it a try? That step needs to be taken with every hostess, even if you talked about it leading up to the show and she said no. You always want to do that final step with every hostess, because sometimes they say no ahead of the party, because when you're saying you're going to get to keep the paycheck, they're thinking to themselves, there may not be a paycheck. I don't even know if my friends are buying. And when you say you're going to get to do the shows that your friends booked to continue on with your business, they may be saying in their heads, I don't think any of my friends are booking a party, so that's not going to be an issue. Then you go do the show, and there is a paycheck, and there are bookings, and there may even be someone else interested in the business, affording them the ability to get a promotion and a raise within a couple of weeks. So we can't not do that final step based on prior information. Now, at the end of the show, all the information's on the table. We know what the sales are. We know what the bookings are. And certainly they can only go up from there. After a party, there's usually still a couple of orders coming in. There may still be someone that wants to book a show. You know, whatever the case may be, we need to go all the way to the finish line with every hostess, because using the show to start her business is something she's entitled to. It's part of the hostess plan. And if they say no at that point, then you've done your due diligence. It's not for her, and that's fine. We put the show in and do the shows that are booked, and all's well and good. Okay, so no matter what, we're offering it. Let's go to number 6. And that is, the secret there is to sell the heck out of bonus items, customer specials, making sure your hostess knows every part of her hostess plan. So does she want to take advantage of hostess only pieces? Hostess only pieces accumulate you points. Making sure that people take their 2 January bonus items, that's 50 more points. When people have leftover half price items, so if someone comes up to me and they have their 2 low, they have their 2 medium, and then they have 2 high, then I know that they want to do the 2 low for their regular. Then they want to do their 2 lifestyle bracelets, let's say for 22 each. And then they have the POW and, the Kaboom on there. Okay, fine. So we know that's what she wants for her $25 bonus. So I'm not going to try to have her take that for her half price items, because that's like just mean, because they want it for the bonus. But I will say at that point, as I, have it all jotted in, I will say, hey, Belinda, you're actually entitled to 2 more things at half price. Is there anything you want to throw in here? Because she may have thought about getting the Twizzlers also in silver, right? And for $18, why not throw them on? It doesn't have to be another big Jagunda item. Another $18 item times 3 more guests, times 4 more guests, that's $90 in sales, times 2 shows a week, times a month, times the 5 months of your show. Those $18 Twizzlers are somehow the $900 you're short on the last day. And now you don't have to go freaking out trying to find people to buy impressions bracelets, because you had people take 1 extra pair of Twizzlers all along the way. So always throw that in as an afterthought for people that have openings for half price items. They'll often throw in a gift or just even something else they already got in another color. There's plenty of things that they can do. And of course, that drives your commission as well, right? Every time they take another $18 extra pair of half price Twizzlers, there's your 30, 35, 40, whatever your commission rate is. And again, times a month, times a week, times a month, there's probably a whole new level of rich rewards. And then, continuing on. So that was number 7. It can also be the difference too, by the way, of earning 1 trip at the end versus earning 2 trips at the end. Because you may have had enough points for the 1, but had you accumulated, there's not a big jump in points from 1 to 2, not that big of a jump. So when you earn for 1, halfway, 3/4 of the way through, you can usually, push to get that second trip, because you don't need more recruits, you just need more sales. Where again, the early recruiting helps you. And yes, absolutely, it adds up for your Mercedes car plan, all of the things. Okay, number 7. secret is to spend time coaching your hostesses, right? A hostess, sometimes we don't even know that they may have never had a home party of any kind before. And she thinks if I invite 5 people, then 5 people are coming. But if she invites 5 people, probably 2 people are coming at best. So if she wants to have 5 people there, she definitely needs to invite at least 15 people. And some of our hostesses just truly don't know that. So that's our job to explain. Our hostesses are generally more motivated to bring in more people when they know what they get for doing so. So are we taking the time to explain every part of the hostess plan to her? That she's getting a thank you piece that's valued as high as $140 for $19. Really, the real thing about the thank you piece is that she's supposed to and be entitled to that when she sends out her invitations. Now, we don't, in 2019, not that many people are mailing invitations anymore, but it could be, hey, Jen, did you get the text that I sent you? Did you send it out? I sure did. How many people did you send it to? I sent it to about 10. Okay, great. That's a great start. I would recommend sending a little add-on that says feel free to bring a friend, and see if there's a few more people you can send it to, because if you're going to get your double free credit with 10 orders, then I would love for you to have, closer to 10 people there when I get there, so that you don't have to work too hard for that. I'd rather do the work for you. Things like that help them to understand what's in it for them, for having that bigger attendance to get to that double free credit. And just to kind of go over each part of the host plan. Sometimes I let them know too, you may bring the book to work and someone's going to say, oh, I really only wanted one thing. It's not worth it. Well, in Park Lane's hostess plan, it totally is. 10 of your friends can place $100 orders, and 10 of your friends can place $15 orders. You're still getting $400 in credit because we base it on number of orders. So if you have a friend that all she wants is a pair of Encore earrings for $18, you take that order, because 10 orders is 10 orders. Doesn't matter how much they are for. All right. So secret number 8 is your tracking. Tracking is the make it or break it secret. Okay, because if you're not tracking, you don't know what you need. And when you don't know what you need, there's never a way that you're going to end up crossing that finish line, because you need a plan. That's all of direct sales is having a plan and working the plan. So that applies to no matter what goal you have. Maybe you're on this call today and you're like, yeah, you know what? This trip is going to be way beyond anything I would have wanted to work towards. These secrets that I'm sharing with you right now apply to any goal that you would want to set in your business. So if you're like, you know what, I want to make $500 a month so that I can make my car payment with no sweat, then the plan is going to be, how can I get one show a week on my calendar? And we're going to work that plan. And you're going to look at your calendar each day and say, okay, I have one for next week. I have one for the following week, but I don't have one for the week after that. Today's tasks need to include me getting a show during that week, because you have a plan and you are there, you're tracking it. You're looking at it and saying, okay, I have 2 of the 3 that I need for the rest of this month. Let me handle that today. So use the trackers that's provided by Park Lane. Of course, the tracking part is what we don't have, because of not knowing the destination and stuff. But we're pretty sure you're going to need 4 recruits. And the bottom line, too, is that if you were doing 2 shows a week reliably from now till the end of May, you'd have that trip on lock. So it's a safe bet to go ahead and get 2 shows a week booked for the next, far out as you can do it, and you'll can be considered on track. Now, part B of tracking is what brings us to number 9 secret, which is to-go thinking. You know, we've been teaching this to you guys for probably, I think it's 2 years now, where you are looking at how much you have to go. So if it turns out it's 54,000 points, then you can do minus when you enter $1,000 show, minus when your recruit enters $1,000 show, so on and so forth. And then you always know how much you have to go. And then you can always look, okay, well, there's 6 weeks left in the trip. I still need 10,000 points. So I need to do, me and my recruits need to do X amount each of the, each of the remaining weeks. That's to go thinking. And I know a lot of you did it on your convention trackers. I thought Beth Faust did a great job with that when she shared her convention tracker. In addition to doing all the coloring in, she put the to-go amount for what she was going for so that she could look at it going down and going up, which many people find helpful. There's even a video about to-go thinking, if this is a new concept for you, on that Sparkle document that I have on the team page with all the training videos listed. There's one that's specifically about to-go thinking if you want to kind of give yourself a refresher on that. And then the number 10 secret is that through our recommendation and direct appoint program, you can earn a trip or an extra trip. Twice I have had an extra trip. I've earned an extra trip by recommending a leader to Park Lane that came in equal or higher than me. And then when they earned the trip, that meant that I got an extra trip as well. So going back a long time ago, I had earned Aruba for 5 because of that. We could earn it for as many as 4, and then I earned the extra one. And then for Switzerland as well, I earned it for 3. No, I earned it for 4. And then the 5th one I cashed out, and that's what we used for our spending money. No, Greece. That's what I did it for, not Switzerland. Switzerland, I earned it for 4, and 4 of us went. Greece, I earned it for 2, and then cashed out the 3rd trip, and that was exactly the money that we spent while we were there, which was awesome because then I really didn't have any outlay at all. So that is my top 10 secrets for you for earning a trip. Would anyone like to either throw in their 2 cents that has earned a trip previously, or would anyone like to ask a question?
What was the last thing you said?
That the direct appoint program is the way to earn a trip or an extra trip. Because when you recommend someone who comes in the same level as you or higher than you, and they go on to earn their own trip, then Park Lane awards you with one as well. Any thoughts, questions, additions? Ooh, we had a lot of people on the call today.
Michelle, I think you did a perfect job explaining how to earn it, because it's exactly what I would have said for how I've earned a lot of mine, is really concentrating early and making sure I had, tried to get my recruits as soon as possible. That's how I've only earned 2 trips once, and it was to Portugal, and I earned it in like 6 weeks because I had such good people that I signed up right away. So anyway.
Meaning the times you earned it for 2 versus the time you earned it for 1.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. The time that I earned it for 2 was when I would have my recruits at the very beginning, and they helped me out so much. So
yeah,
everyone start looking. Let's all go for 4.
Well, with that being the focus, then let's, as a reminder, in the Check Us Out group, which is the group that we put anybody the Facebook group where you ever have somebody interested in the business that you'd like to work with, upcoming hostesses, Becky is facilitating an opportunity night tomorrow night with Beth and Teresa, right? Is that correct? And she's doing a Q&A all about how by starting their business with a friend, they were able to grow faster. So really all of our newest recruits, let's encourage them. Let's write out, ask them, who do they know that might also enjoy this business? Because I would love to help my newest people get a 5% raise, right? To go from 30 to 30 to 35. That's the difference between making $180 in a night or $210 in a night. Doing a $600 show times however many shows, that adds up fast, that money. So let's see who might want to work with them. And then when you have one come in, they grow faster, and all of your growth is going to improve. So let's all put some focus on ask yourself, who do I have in that group? And who can I still add to that group? And who do I have in the group that I can send a message to personally invite them to be online at the time that Becky and Beth and Teresa are going to be on? Because just because the event was created doesn't mean that they know that it's definitely on, doesn't mean they even 100% understand why they're in there. So just say, hey, I hope you've been enjoying the group. We've had some fun giveaways. I know you've been thinking about the business. Would love to see you jump online tomorrow night at, what time is the live? Is it at 9 Eastern, 8 Central? I think it's 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And maybe Becky and the girls will answer some of your questions. So, like Belinda, I know Krista had said to me at the gym party that she really was thinking about getting started after January.
Yes, I've been talking to her.
Good. I'm so excited. That would be great.
And
so,
she's coming to Scott's event on Monday with her mom and I think her aunt, something like that.
Fabulous. And if she's free tomorrow night, bring her to our team meeting.
I'll ask her. She works at the hospital, so it's very hard for her to have, some nights off. But I'll mention it to her. And I have another girl, Lisa Calderon.
Okay.
She's also thinking of starting, so I might tell her to come to both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For leaders, think about what opportunities can you offer your team at your upcoming meetings. We did tomorrow night's theme as brunch at night, and it's a bring a friend brunch. And I would love for everybody to bring a friend to tomorrow night's meeting, because then we can wow them about how fabulous we are and how much fun we have and how, of course, they want to join and now have some French toast, our new friend. That would just, think about, those of you that are leaders, what opportunities that you can either offer to your team or at least make sure that they're participating in. Because tomorrow, Becky's doing this great Q&A with Beth and Teresa. Clearly, that will speak to a lot of people, because so many people will think of trying the business, but they feel nervous about doing it by themselves. But yet, if they knew that they could join with their friends and the two of them could train side by side and have kids to share and all of this, they might be more apt to join us. So
just want to put my 2 cents into it.
Yes.
About the trip. I think that what Michelle said in number 2, it's really believe that you can earn it. I had joined my previous business in 2005, and every time they talked about a trip, I thought it was so big and so many points and so much to do that I kind of talked myself out of it. I always said, "Oh my God, I can't do that. Nope, I will never be able to earn that trip." And one convention I came, they had a little seminar about earning a trip, and all of a sudden it just clicked. It just hit me, and I said, "Wait a minute. What am I doing? I can earn that. I can get it." And on the plane home, I created my goals for the year, because for them was once a year. So I created, we needed like 17 or 18 recruits in 1 year. So I sat there and I said, okay, well, this month I need 2 recruits. This month I'll need 1 recruit. And I just created it myself and started really believing that I can get it, that I can earn it. And it happened. So my first trip was to Hawaii, which is the same trip that Park Lane took to Hawaii, the same place. Everything was the same. And while I was there, this tiny little old lady that I guess I sat at a table where everybody had earned so many trips. I don't know how I sat at that table. And everybody was saying, how many trips you earned? They were saying 15 trips, 16 trips, 11. And then when they got to me, I said, well, this is my first trip. And everybody was like, oh, she's a virgin. So I'm sitting there laughing, and she turned around and looked at me and she said, honey, once you earn the first one, you'll earn them all. And that right there, until today, has sat in my head, and I have earned so many. So, it's really in believing what you can do and setting a plan and writing it down, have a vision board, have it everywhere, like Michelle says, because the minute you forget for 2 seconds, it's over. So that's all.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome. Thank you, Belinda.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you all get back to your afternoons and your work life and your children. Thank you so much, as always, for taking 30 minutes, 45 minutes out of your day to learn about your business. If you have any follow-up questions or anything regarding anything we talked about today, or you want to talk further about earning a trip, or just any goal setting in general, then let me know, let your leader know, and let's get you on track, because it's the start of a brand new year, and 2019 can be anything you want it to be. Today at our gym, Stephen was saying that he renamed it 2019. Like, it's my year. So 2019, I thought that was awesome.
Yes.
And it can apply to any area of your life, your fitness life, your business life, your family life. So claim what you want to claim, own what you want to own, and let's make it happen. So have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.